Let's take a look at how Formwork actually helps you automate a lot of your QMS documentation with something we call the QMS Overview. So what the hell is that? First off, we're here in the dashboard of Formwork, which shows you various stuff, QMS and product stuff. But that's not something we want to talk about today. I actually want to talk about the QMS Overview. So as a quick primer, what the hell do you do in a QMS? Typically, you save documents and records. And documents, again, as a quick reminder, they contain something called a version history. So old versions of documents are always archived in Formwork, whereas with records, you just overwrite them. So if you save a new record and that was, well, an old record in the past, then that old data gets overwritten, and that's the way it's meant to be in a quality management system based on the ISO 13485. Now, with the documents, the problem kind of like is when you want to hand it into your notified body, they expect you to create something like a document list of all your documents and all your processes, and creating this kind of sucks because now I have to go through all of these folders and look like, hey, these are my SOPs, cool, and I have to go through them one by one and then create a list of that and hand that into my notified body, and that sucks a lot. So let's take a look at how Formwork automates this. So what we built is this QMS Overview, and I think it's really, really cool. So I click on QMS Overview, and then you can see I already have a list of all my documents here, and all of the relevant information is already pre-filled for me. Well, some of it is pre-filled, not all of it is. So you can see like the date of your first release, the date you last checked this document for whether it's current, which is kind of a regulatory requirement, the date you should check it next, and ownership, and a few other cool things. But the first and most important thing here is you can actually see that all your documents are already here. So you don't have to create this list manually. Instead, as soon as you create one document in Formwork, it pops up here. And I think that already by itself is a huge time saver. I don't really know whether any other eQMS software has this. My best guess is no, but then again, I don't use that sort of terrible software from competitors nowadays. Now, the cool thing here is you can edit each row and like add additional information, which you might want to add before you hand it in. So let's look at this. You could see like, okay, there's the management review report. Let's actually look for an SOP here, SOP deployment. Then you hit edit, and you can see I can edit this row. Very cool. I can select the type, and all of this is already pre-filled, so you don't really have to even customize these types. We just create them for you, and Formwork already guides you in being compliant here. Let's choose SOP. How often do you want to check it? And these are like typical checking cycles, which we know from audits, which are kind of like generally applicable. Let's say every 6 months. The date I last checked it, I can kind of like, you can hit check today to mark something checked on a certain day. Then assign it to a certain owner, and in this case, these are the roles you customize in Formwork, for example, CEO. And then you can add like data for your KPI tracking, which is really cool. So this is a text field, so you can say like whatever your KPI for deployment was, I don't know, 42 deployments per month, whatever. And if you want to expand upon that, you have this nice field to open stuff up. And then once you're done, you just hit this and it's saved. And that's it. And there are a few really, really cool automations here, or things which just are kind of like quality of life improvements. So you could say like, hey, I just checked this today, and then you can hit this. I probably shouldn't do this because then I'll mess up the QMS again. But you can hit this, and then it'll be marked as checked today, and it'll also calculate the next check date for you. Even better than that, it also sends you periodic reminders. So you can go to reminders here, and you can see like, hey, I actually want a monthly checking reminder, maybe on the 5th of each month, and then I hit set reminder, and I get a reminder. And finally, of course, when you want to hand all of this into your notified body, you have the export feature here. So generally speaking, you can usually export pretty much all your data out of Formwork, so you have kind of like zero login, in contrast to all our competitors, which kind of lock you in. You can just hit export here, and you get a spreadsheet, I think. Yeah, so something happened here, you got a spreadsheet, and you can just hand that into your auditors, and I think that's really, really cool. All right, so that's it. That's the QMS overview. A lot of really cool small automations in there, which really save you a ton of time. And I think, again, the biggest thing really is all of these entries are already written for you. You don't have to create the list manually. So this is super huge. If you want to try it out, sign up for Formwork. It's free, and also there are some fairly affordable pricing tiers for additional features.